In today's video, detached home prices and home prices overall have suffered tremendously in the suburbs. We have May 2022 TREB Resale Market Report. It's going to be a very numbers heavy edition. We're going to go through all types of numbers in today's video. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. As always, back with another video for you guys here today. You can find my contact information in the description box and on the screen as well with regards to my Gmail, my office information, and where you can also find me on TikTok and Instagram as well. Feel free to get in touch with me with any questions you may have that arise during this video related to different topics. And if you want to do a little bit of your own homework, due diligence, as always, feel free to just simply enter my name into Google my name, find my Google reviews, and go through them so you know what type of person you would be dealing with. Enough of all that jazz. Let's get to the point of today's video, which I said off the top. Today's video is going to be a very number heavy video. Sometimes we do more qualitative videos. This is going to be a very quantitative heavy video because the TREB Resale Market Report just came out. And what do we see? Well, off the bat, we see the average sold prices have dropped officially below January 2022 levels. In one of my most recent videos that I made when I went through the numbers at the time, I stated that prices keep falling from peak market conditions, but at that point in time, prices were still higher overall on average basis than January levels. Well, now prices across all property types, across all areas, so the most general category we can envision, have fallen below even January levels, let alone obviously, as we've discovered and covered in the past, below peak market conditions in February. What are the prices? Well, in May of 2022, which is the most recent month in full we have, the average sold price across all property types, across all areas, was at $1.212, $1,212,000. That is a $40,000 or so drop off memory from April, where the average sold price was $1.254, $1,254,000. Of course, this is much less than the 1.3s peak market conditions we saw in February, and once again, not to be redundant, but now officially less than January, where the average sold price there was around 1.24. However, prices are still higher than December and November levels. There's no doubt about that. So that's why I say thus far, in the Toronto real estate market and the GTA real estate market, we see that prices have merely corrected. In my most recent video in the comments, some people were giving me a hard time because I was not calling it a crash like a lot of people on YouTube who do the clickbait thumbnails and titles, which I understand. They're wonderful people, not all of them, but I know a couple of them tangentially, and they're very nice people, nice agents, but they're doing the clickbait for views, which is how you get views on this platform. Nonetheless, I refuse to call it a crash. I refuse to say anything more than it has been a noticeable, not minor, noticeable correction in prices. Now, what the future will have in store for us, we can get to that a bit later. Now, this is once again across all areas and all property types. That is where we can say prices have fallen officially below January levels, but they're still higher than November, December levels. It is not the case when we break it down to particular property types in particular areas. Case in point, if we jump into just looking at detached home prices by area on a monthly basis, we see something substantially different. First and foremost, what we see is that the city of Toronto has held up the best, more particularly Toronto Central. But if we take Toronto overall, which of course Toronto Central is part of Toronto overall, we see that Toronto has been the most resistant to the slump in prices, particularly in this case for detached freehold. With regards to peak market conditions in February, where the average sold price of a detached property within the city of Toronto, according to the Toronto real estate market at the time, was $2,073,000. Now it is down, there's no doubt about that, but minimally so when we take a look at how other areas have performed. Where in May of 2022, prices are only down to $1,914,000. Once again, that is a minimal drop. And when we look at Toronto Central, it's not even a drop whatsoever. Toronto Central, insofar as all the major areas within the TREB areas and GTA areas are concerned, is the only area that's actually up and here by the tune of 3%, as you can see. Now, Toronto Central did drop from 2.9 down 7% into March, but since March, not only has it been holding strong, but it's been appreciating. Officially, as of May 2022, back up to 2.9, in this case, 2.918, $2,918,000. Where the biggest struggle is occurring, and where a lot of people have discussed, myself included as well, is the suburbs. Here, the suburbs stands for York Region, so Richmond Hill, Vaughan, Markham, Aurora, Newmarket, King, Durham, so Oshawa would be Ajax, Pickering, and Peel, Brampton more particularly so. It's obvious here according to the numbers. York Region overall in terms of detached has dropped from peak prices of 1.992 down 5% into March, down almost 7% into April, and now down almost another 5% into May, where the average sold price stands at $1,677,000. Similarly, if we just take a look at specific municipalities within York Region, Richmond Hill, it's much of the same story. Prices have fallen from 2.1 in peak market conditions in February, now down to 1.968. But even with regards to York Region and Richmond Hill, prices are still higher though than they were in November and December. So that common thread that we started with in the beginning of the video continues even with regards to York Region. Although it's performing much worse compared to Toronto from February and forward, they're still higher than they were in November and December. Well, where that is not particularly the case is with regards to, for instance, Peel, where the average sold price for Peel region with regards to detached properties in May came in at 1.524, so $1,524,000. Not only is that a precipitous decline from peak market conditions, but that's even less than prices were in November, where in November of 2021, the average sold price in Peel was at $1.6, $1,600,000. And obviously you can see the Durham numbers as well. Durham has struggled substantially so as well. Suburbs overall have struggled and they continue to decline. What has held the most steady and held up the strongest, and in certain cases actually appreciated, is the city of Toronto. Now, why is that the case? Well, the popular consensus is that the suburbs went up so much so during the hot periods of the markets, even preceding 2022 into 2021 and the beginning of the worldwide event, as I like to call it. That's for you, Philip. What essentially occurred was things appreciated beyond their intrinsic value, and now they're the first to correct. And the city of Toronto was actually quite undervalued during that time, where everyone thought that they have to escape to the suburbs. Well, the core, the city, held up kind of consistently, and now we're seeing the true value come to the forefront. The true value proposition the city of Toronto provides a person, well, we're seeing that value come forward to the forefront. Now, one thing I want to make clear, even with regards to the suburbs, all these areas are still much higher than they were year over year. That's why I have a hard time calling this a crash of any kind, right? How can a market truly crash when prices, even in the worst performing areas, are still much higher year over year? And that is just one counter argument I have about calling this a crash. However, I'm not some bullish person on the market. I have been the first to call it a buyer's market before anyone did. I was the first to show the softening signs before most people did. And I have covered the drop in prices all along since February. So I'm not some sort of a blind individual that is just trying to say everything is going up and there's nothing wrong. No, there is clearly a more than minor correction occurring, but it's not a crash. And with regards to condo numbers, I'm gonna leave that for my next video, which will be coming out sometime Monday or Tuesday, where I go through condo numbers more in depth. I also have a poll up on my channel. Which condo building of these would you want me to review next? Do an in-depth analysis and review of that building and what I think of it. Feel free to go vote as well. That video should be coming out soon as well. Feel free to get in touch with me. Contact info in the description, on the screen. Subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.